Hello. So I have just had my week at Reshless with on Wednesday doing reflective management practice. So for me, this is a kind of summary for the skills audit that we did at both the beginning and my action plan that we did at the reflective management week. So as you can see, attached on the sorry, I've just got my iPad here with my skills audit. So as you can see, my 2013 one, I created my action plan around what I felt and what the skills audit told me were my weaknesses. This I felt at the time, I feel now reflecting back on that is quite subjective. So I think my realisation of actually what was a priority and what wasn't necessarily an accurate representation of what is and was. So from my action plan, I'll talk through what the action was and how I feel I've done around it, and if it's done, completed, that kind of thing. Then look at the two strength areas. So going straight in there with my development areas. So the first one was around improving my communication, both written and verbally. So you can see from on here, I was quite low down. I was quite a way off the actual top mark figure. So for me, I think that's why I chose it. But I don't think I looked anything deeper than that. I think I just took it at face value of, oh, I need to improve on those areas, because now I actually feel that I'm very strong in those areas. But I don't think I realised what being strong looked like. So I said that I need to make sure that when I'm in lectures I listen and make more effective notes. I often find that when I take notes I struggle to keep up with the conversation, so improving my reflections and retyping lectures will greatly improve my work. That wasn't the way I went around solving that development area. I admit that at the beginning my critical writing and creating actions wasn't very good. That's a very general blanket statement. So it's not very smart, as it were. So, but I actually feel like I've developed in other ways. So around actually in lectures I don't write notes because that's not how I work. But back then that's how I thought I had to work. So for me I developed other ways and other tips of, say, recording and being able to reflect on it later on. So for me it's not around actually this is what I think I should be, but actually moving towards, okay, I'm not going to do it that way, the conventional way of writing notes in life. I'm going to do it something a bit differently. So for me, that's really helped with my confidence and actually trusting in myself. Of I don't have to fit this norm. I can do what I want, and as long as it focuses in on that development need, that's perfect. So I feel like I've completed that action because I've improved them. As you can see by my skills audit, they both increased dramatically towards actually being very close to the top. I don't think this is completed by a long way in terms of I can always develop, but I think that's relevant for any of the actions. There is always areas that I can develop more, but going forward into next year I'm going to have strong development needs. So second action was to improve my personal effectiveness. Here I said I struggle with setting myself personal objectives, seeing them through. This means that when I'm at work, I make sure that I set an effective PDG. This will help me set goals and follow them through. At the time, I didn't really know what a PDG would encompass, which is our internal CV. So actually that wasn't the right tool. So firstly, the action is wrong. And secondly, I think that I've improved, and by the skills audit again, I have improved slightly, ever so slightly, but this isn't actually as big as an issue as I necessarily thought. It's around not doing that. It's not doing. Let me get this way. It's not around creating a really clear and objective. I think it's looking at that bigger picture and actually looking at how the effective fits in with everything. So is it relevant? Is it aligned to the organisation? I hate using the word aligned, but there we go. Is it aligned to the rest of the organisation? And if it is, what's wrong with that? I personally feel that is fine. So creating goals for work, I think that it's not around personal effectiveness, it's around time management, things like that. It's around seeing it through, but I'm implementing ways to do that, and actually that's probably more of a priority for me. It's around, okay, the objective is set, but how am I going to go about achieving it? So third priority, third action was my presentation skills need to be improved to large audiences. So when presenting to large audiences, I often get nervous. This then comes through in my presentation. In my current role at work, I am not required to present anything, so whilst at university I need to make sure that I take all the chances to take an active part in the presentation and receive criticism, so I know where I need to move on to. So for me, this is now going to be about a reflection of last Wednesday. So the feedback that I received was, it was good. It was really good. I'll just get it up. So in terms, I thought that the confidence came from around my delivery. Hang on, I'll just go get the sheet. So my feedback, for me, this was a very good sign. Actually, I have completed that because although it wasn't a large audience, it was still, there was 12 of us there. There was 12 of us there. No, 13 of us there. So I was presenting to 12 people. So actually, I feel like that's quite a big group to have the responsibility, like, for everyone to be watching me. And for me, looking at all of this feedback was really overwhelmingly good. For my delivery, I got nothing less than good. So actually, if someone's saying that my presentation is good, that's okay. Like, obviously my nerves don't go through. Watching back the video, there were times where I stumbled and murmured and things like that. Yet there was one point and everyone laughed. So no one's going to be laughing if they're finding it uncomfortable. So for me, it was probably those first two slides, second and third slide, around how it's helped me and how it's helped the team, how university has. And that was probably where I got most interaction from people, and looking at people's faces and emotions, I felt that I came across in quite an impactful way. I think people took away with what I was saying, and also some people related with what I was saying. So actually, presentation, it has been done in some senses, because I have taken every opportunity at university to take an active role in presenting, which hasn't become a direct, like, we've all had to do it, and I think we've all benefited from that. So the actions completed is I've taken in time with everyone, but I still get nervous when presenting. But actually, it's not just me, it's everyone. From people that I've been speaking to at work, at university, they all get nervous, and that's natural, and actually that should be embraced. I shouldn't worry about that. So for me, it doesn't matter if I get nervous or not, as long as the delivery is right. And then the final action was around to improve my creativity. And I am not very creative, so there is my problem solving skills due to suffer. I need to take time in the day for blue sky thinking, and when I reflect on what I have thought upon, speak to my line manager / tutors about the ideas I come up with. I think this will be the best way to improve my creativity. I thought creativity was creating a poster. Personally, creativity comes in a multitude of ways. So this, it's not fancy, it's not all glittery, but doing it differently is creativity, which I don't think I was aware of. So actually at work, there's a lot of things that I've got perspective on. I've got ways to tweak processes. That's creativity. Just because it's not fancy doesn't mean it's not creative. It's just a different way of doing it. So for me, it wasn't actually around, it was much of a need. So I hadn't had the chances to implement that skill, which I have had now, and I actually think I'm quite good at it. So I'd say that's done. So, moving on to my strengths. Oh, pardon me. So my strengths. Numeracy. To improve my numeracy skills, I need to make sure that I continue to look at spreadsheets and financial pieces of information at work so that I stay familiar to it. That's rubbish. I don't think I understood actually what this incorporated. So numeracy isn't about looking at financial data and things like that. Numeracy is just around, I don't even think it was a development need for my strengths. I think there was other strengths that needed developing more, so around team and things like that. So I don't know why I put this on there. It must have been the frame of mind I had at the time. I do think I've improved, but I don't think it's an outcome because of this action plan. I think it's things that I've been involved with at work that have helped. So for me, that's probably a write-off one. That was something that I got wrong, and I will admit that actually it's not relevant at this point, and it hasn't been relevant all this year. IT. To improve my IT skills, I need to make sure that I'm aware of new developments in technology. I also continue to gain knowledge in other areas of IT that I'm not particularly interested in. Again, that's rubbish. I think at the beginning it was because I didn't realise what work entailed. So I thought, my mind state, so to take you back, was around actually, okay, I'm going into the workplace. What kind of skills do I need? Oh, I need to be really sharp on computers. I need to be really sharp with my numbers. But actually, you do. But there's always people there that can support you. And I actually have probably one of the best IT skills in the group. And that is recognised from other people. So going back to Thursday and Friday last week, we'll learn about where power comes from. So whether power comes from your charisma, your status, your people that you know. For me, it was actually around power comes from my knowledge. So I have the ability to help people with Excel skills, Word, anything Microsoft, and people come to me because they know I'm that go-to person. So it's not around keeping in touch with like really modern trends, but it's around creating that bar and just working on it and not doing things the same way every way. So if someone needs me to do something in some way that I don't know, which I have done, so it's around actually I'm going to create an action plan list on a spreadsheet, just something that I'd never previously done. Going back to that creativity piece, it's helped me improve that creativity because it's something different, and it helped me improve my so removing waste. So doing it on Word, it's quite a labour intensive process. Doing it on Excel actually made it look nicer. I was able to track it better. So I think the building on my strengths is what, to summarise, is what I thought I needed to do. not actually what I needed to do for the workplace. So I feel now going into next year, I'm going to have a much better understanding of what the business needs are and what my personal needs are to work better. So that's my action plan, summarised and reflected on. I think going forward, I'm going to be able to create a better action plan, really have smart objectives in there and smart actions coming out of it. So I look forward into creating that in the coming months and actually implementing that. Because next year, the new challenges again. I'll probably be sat here talking to you about the same issues that I've had, because things change, people change, I've changed dramatically because of this. So my focus is on what this has highlighted of what I need to work on. So thank you very much. Bye.